What's good, guys? So what we're doing today is a party next door dancehall sort of beat. Everything that we're doing is within Logic, so we're only using the stock plugins there. So as long as you have a fully functioning version of Logic Pro X and a fully functioning version of a Brain, then we'll be able to cook up this beat and there will be no need for you to go anywhere else as well. It doesn't matter what level you're at, whether it's beginner, professional, anything in between. If you watch this video, I can guarantee you will learn something that you will be able to take away and apply to your own studio as well. So with that being said, let's get into the studio and cook up some vibes. So firstly, what you want to start off with is just adjusting the tempo to something about 108. I always say below 110 is good for dancehall for me. So once you load up Logic, you automatically have the electric piano set. But what we're going to do is just select some of the different presets here. I'm going to go through them and find one that I like. I want something dry because we're going to be adding our own effects to it anyway. That's alright. Bit too bright. Okay, that's one we're going to go with. It's dry, it's got that brightness as well, but not too bright. Feel free to select whichever you prefer. This is going to be your beat in the end, so whatever you like, go and roll with that. I'm going to find some chords that we can actually play, and just something that's got those R&B sort of party next door sort of vibes. So let's see what we can find. Yeah, sounds good. So we're going to go with that. I'm just going to record. Okay, so the keys are off. That's cool. This is what quantize is for. Okay, let's drag because that was first not played was off. So these are the keys that I came up with. Cool. So I want to add a bit more reverb in there. It sounds a bit dry. So you've got the automatic presets that have been set here. So it's already got a bit of small room reverb on there. We're going to add some of this large reverb. You go to your buses, you can see it's already got presets there. What it's set for. I'm going to turn it up a bit. See the difference it's already made. So that's one thing you can do. And then if you just head over to the actual electric piano plugin, now it's quite a simple layout. It's got the EQ here, which you can use to take out a lot of the high end as well, which we're going to do. Not too much though. So just take a look as to what I'm doing while I'm doing it. Listen to the effects that I'll be doing. I'll talk you through it as well while I'm changing it. Just take off a bit more of that high end. This is the phase, so we're going to add a bit more colour to it. Okay. So this is what I'm happy with now. All I've done with that is phase. I realised I didn't want adds too much for now. It might be dope to include that in the hook, but as for now, I just want my dry sort of keys. I've added a bit of chorus. I've taken a bit off the high end from the EQ. I mean, I've gone into the details here, and also with the time bell, that adds that. I'll just show you what that does. That's it, max. This is without. It's a lot softer. So I'm going to leave it about around there. So we've got our cards set out there. Then that's what we're gonna roll with. Another thing that I like to do to my actual cards, which if you watch my previous video when we made a trap soul beat, is I like to actually use something called. You just head down to your modulation, and you've got something called a scanner vibrato. We're gonna apply that as well. This does add a phase to it. That's good. Alright, so another thing that I'm going to do is just because I think it sounds a bit too dry, I want to add a bit more character to it. So we're going to make these keys a bit more authentic. You could always play it like this, but I appreciate not every producer out there knows how to play the keys. So what we're going to do is just do it digitally. And to do that, just select every second note. Drag this panel out so we can see better. And then just move it onto the edge of the actual MIDI note until you see that. And just drag it a bit. Okay, let's drag it back inwards. Then go to the third note of a selection. Hold down shift so you can select them all. And then drag that past the second note that you've just dragged. And do the same to the fourth note. Drag that past the third note. If you're struggling with this, hold down control and you can do it a lot more loosely. And then do it to the last note. Bear in mind as well, you want to keep this in time. So to do that, you need to make sure that the last note always ends on here. Get away from me, you freak. And then put that there. Okay, and then this is what it's going to sound like. That's not done right. That was a flop. Right, put you in here. Okay. The one thing that I will change is I'm just going to pull you back in around about here. Okay, and now we just want to make sure all the notes hit the edge of the next beginning note. So to do that, Command A, right click on it, and then click Trim Note to End to Following Notes. Select Keep, and then they've all been dragged out to the correct place there. So I'm going to add a bit of EQ and take off a bit of the high end, just a slight bit. Okay, now the final trick I am going to show you is what we're going to do is we're going to actually just mess about with it and see what sounds good. I want to see if we can make something a bit more of a trap soul sort of vibe, because we've got the PARTYNEXTDOOR keys here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get this as a tool, and if you just hold Command and then hold Alt, you get this scissor icon with a plus next to it. Then you can snip. It will snip all of the actual section in line with where you've selected. I selected 1 bar, so it'll select 1 bar thereafter as well. And then we're going to make a sample of this. We're going to sample our own sort of sounds. Go down to the sampler. And then we're going to drag all this all onto the sampler. So to do that, just go to your sampler, select the mapping region, and then you can drag it all onto here. And you can see it's all turned out there nicely. So if I play along with it onto C1, which is a bit octave lower. Okay, so what I'm going to do there is if we can just like play around with it, but it's all sampled now. So if you turn down the pitch on this, this will transpose it. I want to keep it in the pitch I'm in because I want to know what key I'm in. So I'm going to transpose it by -12, which is an octave. So he's already got that sort of trap soul vibe to it. If we had more reverb on there. Or you could even go high if you wanted. Bear in mind that when you mess around with a tune as well, it will change the speed of it. That's why if you go down 12, an exact octave, then you know it will stay in time. And we're going to put some reverb on there. Let's see what that sounds like. Not reverb, some reverse, sorry. Okay, so to add some reverse, just double click on, I don't know why I'm saying like that. So if you add some reverse, just double click on the region, and then you've got the actual wave file there. What you can do is if you just head down to here, you can reverse it. Now you see it's got that long tail at the end. You can actually shorten that if you just edit it. If you scroll to the edge of the actual wave file, you can pull the actual cut up. So I'm going to cut it because I want to start earlier, you know what I mean? So it can actually go in time. Okay. So we've got that there as a reverse. I want that as a stroke. I'm going to keep it like that. I don't want it all being reversing. So we're just going to close that down, mute you, and we're going to record to that now. Cool. Sounding good. So what we're going to do is just going to quantize all of that. And we're also going to select all of it and just go down to select functions up here. MIDI transform, fixed velocity. And what this will do is just set it all to the same velocity. So it's not one note's not louder than the other, or one note's not too quiet. A lot of dancehall vibes of rim snares, claves, congas, all that sort of stuff that we're going to be putting in. So we're going to loop this. I'm going to drag that out. And we're going to record to this. That's the main sort of rhythm. Let's quantize that to 1/16 of a note. Okay, and we're going to start this here. Right, what we're going to do is we're going to take off that high end here as well. Party Next Door has a lot of soft drums, so that's why I'm going to keep it soft. That's why from the beginning I've been trying to take off a lot of the high end anyway. So let's just take off the high end of this snare. Okay, so I think that sounds good, but I want to add a bit more character to the claves. They sound a bit dry, sound a bit dead, so let's just fix that. Go down to where the claves are, you see it moving here. Add some sample delay to spread it. Then colour it up with some reverb. Large play again. Sounds a lot better. So we're going to move on now because I've taken a lot of time just looking at that. But that's the main sort of beat. We won't need to change much now, so it's time well spent. So we're going to have a bridge here. Let's drag it here. Have that here. So this is another thing that you can do. Now that we've already got that sampled, it means you can be a lot more flexible where you want the pitches to sit. So let's just highlight this region and we're going to start constructing the bridge here. If you go to your sampler and just drag this up back to 12. We're going to have to draw that in again because it's stopped being as delayed. I've set the tune to be back to where it was, so it's the original notes now. But here's the issue we have. If I'm playing this along with a beat, the note's not dragged out, it's too short, so it won't fit into this 4-bar sequence we've got here. This 4-bar portion of the track. So what we're going to do to fix that is just head over to the actual original MIDI notes that you've got. Select the ones that you want to drag out, stretch it out so it's 2 bars. And with this, we're also going to stretch these out notes out so they're right to the edge. And then we're going to make a new sample. So let's load these back to the default sample, record default. You're going to head over to your mapping again, and you're going to drag the audio files in. Cool. So now what's going to happen when we're playing it is it will last the full sequence. So mute that. Go back to your sampler. Select on your region. Hit reverse. And drag this till it's round about where it needs to start. And we're going to reverse the second note as well. So go over to here, double click on that one. Click reverse. And drag this to where it starts as well. And now we're going to play along with that. Now it's last the full 4 bars, and it makes it the perfect time for us to bring in the hook. So quantize that. I'm going to add a lot more reverb to this just to add that colour. Already on that 5. Maybe a bit of delay as well might be nice. There we go. I'm thinking what would sound good as a counter melody. If you listen to a lot of PARTYNEXTDOOR sort of beats, he's got a lot of different synths. He loves his synths and wild sort of sounds there. So we're going to go through the synth selection and we're going to find something that's going to sound good. So I just wanted to add a bit of flavour to the bridge. So this is what I came up with. We're going to double that up. Cut it here. Just for that. And then the hook's going to start here. What we're going to be doing now is just break it down from the bridge. And we're going to go straight into the hook. Keep it simple, keep it simple. Right, so we're at the hook now. We've got the bridge all sorted out here. We want to make sure the hook stands out, but isn't too much so that switches up the feel of the song. So we're going to use this. Just like it was in the verse. Only difference is we're going to add a bass now. So if you just make a new channel, go down and select the ES2, which is a synthesizer. And then what you want to do is just go down to the bottom, synth bass, sine bass. Okay, drop some of that volume. I'm gonna add some distortion right here. Make this mono, so it's only gonna have one voice. Okay, and what we're also gonna do is just make a bit of a harder. Not that hard. Okay. Now, we're going to add some release to it. Let's see what that sounds like now. Okay, let's roll with that. So this is what we've got for the hook now. Is I've added that glide, so it's going to have that nice sort of sweeping effect. This. Like that. And this is what it sounds like. We can repeat that for 2 bars. Sorry, 8 bars. Right, so all I've done is I've looped the actual hook. So it's 16 bars now. What I'm going to be doing now is I'm just going to get a piano sorted out and copy the keys over to that just to add a different sort of R&B effect. I've got a standard Yamaha grand piano here. So I'm going to drag the notes from the beginning They have been dragged out as well, so they can last 2 bars. And then if you just unmute that, make that a bit softer. And then include your cuts as well. And this is what it's going to sound like then. We play it right from the bridge. Here. Turn that down a bit. So that's what it's going to sound like. As well, just at the end of the hook, I just want to add a bit more of a bit of flavor. And that's going to be it. Drag you back out. And there we have it. And then it's simply a matter of looping it, switching things up around the actual verse as well. So we're just gonna... Right, so I've just looped it, copied across the actual verse. What we're gonna do is just maybe add some bass to the actual verse here as well. Just so it's a bit different from this, from the offset, but not too different, so like it makes it sound like it's a different sort of song or a different sort of vibe. Okay, so just a simple bass, same one that we used for the hook, we're going to use here as well. Loop that. Okay, cool. So here we've got the actual verse, and then we can go back into the bridge here as well. It's simply a matter of looping it now, guys. There's no need to do anything crazy with it. You've got the main start, and then just loop it again. And that's it. And that will be the beat. Go ahead and add anything you want to add, take away anything you want to take away, make it your own sort of beat. Hopefully this video has helped you to be able to know how to make a dancehall sort of vibe, but also with like the R&B sort of element as well. And PARTYNEXTDOOR loves his soft drums, so that's why I've taken off a lot of the high end off the snares, just to give it that R&B sort of vibe as well. So yeah, I hope this helps, and I'll be including more videos in the future. Should you have any suggestions or anything that you'd like me to include, let me know. This was actually a request, so I was more than happy to do it. So if you've got anything else that you'd want me to do, just let me know, and I'll see if I can get around to doing that as well.